Broadcasting from our studio in Ocala, Florida. I'm Brody Barcode.
I'm Ryan James.
And welcome to the Parlor, your hub for independent art and entertainment, as well as a platform to showcase independent artists and entertainers abroad. Hanging out with us tonight in the Parlor, we have the incredibly talented independent artist, as well as filmmaker, Mr. Michael S. Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez, how you doing, sir?
Good to see you too. It's been a while, but man, I'm glad you guys are getting this thing going. The show has been great so far, what you guys have done. And hell, let's make this a really cool show today.
Thank you. And that's gourmet. So, of course, you're out there in LA. So how are things now? I mean, following the last 6-9 months with everything going on, has there been any changes? Anything progressive? As far as in the film realm?
In the film realm, it has slowed things down a bit. I would say just a bit. But right now, I mean, I guess you could look at it as a silver lining, I guess, from all of everything we've been through, this whole year. But I think what it's done is for the indie world, it's really made things, it's made us stronger. And I think it made us more resourceful, and, we're managing to get through it. And I think we're evolving.
Has it by chance changed in the way of working with collaborators on indie realm as well?
It has, I mean, because of all the precautions we're taking nowadays, there's a lot of Zoom meetings going on. There's a lot of outsourcing, people. I mean, I'm already used to doing that. I mean, my team at MSR Studios, I mean, we're branched out all over the place. I got a guy, in post-production in Texas. My editor lives in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm over here in California. So we're like all to each other all the time. But
it's kind of how we started as well. I mean, Brody was sending me all the footage and I was learning to edit it.
But it's interesting how we do that,
Yeah. I was just going to say, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I mean, that is definitely one thing that I've noticed so far out of all this is just especially in the indie realm, building these bridges, like you just said, whether it's going from LA to Arizona to Texas, or here we are in Florida hanging out with you in LA. I mean, I really feel like it's brought about this shift. And I look at it as a positive that, all right, hey, it's bringing us all together, I think
exactly, legit. 100%. Yeah, no, it's actually been, like I said, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, a lot of things have happened, have transpired over this past year. But at the same time, I think in the world of the indie, filmmakers and artists, it's really drawn us together and made us stronger. I produced a TV show during the pandemic, and I managed to shoot an episode. I was just going to produce it because I had been producing a string of short films for other artists for over a year, almost 2 years. So I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to produce a television show. And now, from our own studios or homes, we can collaborate together and produce episodes. Well, I got this itch, and I'm like, I wrote something because I wanted to contribute, at least an episode. And I managed to shoot it, under, I went and got my certification as a compliance officer for COVID. And then, we went, I wrote, directed, shot it, and then we went to post-production. I mean, and we turned this thing out within a month. And
nice.
That's kind of unheard of. Usually, sometimes I spend almost a year on a short film just perfecting it.
Yeah.
But we did this, we got it to air within a month, which was pretty amazing. But I think
crazy.
That's what it's doing to the indie set right now. What it's doing is it's making us raise the bar, you know, and it's making us really work under pressure. And I think we're going to turn out quite a few really good artists, and very, I think we're looking at 2021 as something that, hey, look, we're going to come even stronger.
Yeah.
In the coming years, especially after this dies down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what are you currently working on?
Right now, um, right now we're wrapping up scoring on Last American Horror Show Volume 2. Then we're going to be looking to get this thing distributed and out. We may do a premiere. Hopefully, that's the thing that's kind of holding things back. I've shot, I've directed 2 feature films during the last almost 2 years, but the problem is now that the pandemic is hit, there's you really can't do a premiere. You can't do this, you can't do that.
Not
So it's kind
traditionally,
of
at least.
right traditionally. So it's kind of kind of halted that. But I'm looking at 2021 to release 2 feature films, Lake of Shadows and Last American Horror Show, the follow up to my first feature film. And so we're right now we're finishing up the scoring on the sequel, and I am writing a short piece for a film called The Stories They Tell. And what this is, it's kind of I'm branching off a little bit from horror, and I'm gonna do this fun project where it's kind of like a 4 Rooms. Remember that film, 4 Rooms?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a mix of a crime story, with a little comedy involved. And I kind of already dipped my toe in that water with the episode I did for my Strange Files series, where I did one called Day of the Pigs, where it was these guys that rob a bank, and it was kind of a dark comedy.
Yeah.
They run into these that run a pig farm.
Yeah.
So
reference to Snatch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw the trailer, the teaser trailer there for Last American Horror Show Volume 2. I was digging it, and I was getting a little bit of crime, grindhouse, horror thriller. I mean all of that, within that what was about just a little over a minute trailer. I was liking it. I was digging it.
Thank you, and I appreciate it. And I want you guys to know this too, that this time around, I didn't write, direct, and produce the whole thing myself. I decided to bring in some of my indie brothers, that are out there cranking out short films. And I said, hey, look, guys, how about we collaborate and we make this sequel together?
Nice.
So they went out and they shot, they directed, they produced their own segments, and I shot the wraparound and I contributed a couple stories in there. So I presented the film, but it's not completely written and directed by me. I have Montgomery Dobson. He directed a segment in there, and Ricardo Vasquez, who I've worked with since the beginning. Since he's been my producer on everything I've ever directed and written. So he actually got 2 short films directed, and they're in there. So I'm very proud to say it's a collaborative effort.
Awesome.
With
nice.
Very cool.
Fellow independent filmmakers. And, a lot of people, I know it's a competitive field, but a lot of people don't realize it. I've always been the one to want to branch out and connect everybody and say, hey, look, we could all do this together.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of talent out in the world that you can work with their strengths and hopefully bring up their weaknesses if they have any at that point. And there are plenty of movies that have had collaborative efforts for certain segments of films. And the biggest, what can make or break it, in my opinion, would be how is the cohesion with each segment to the movie in whole?
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing, I would think.
No, it's not. Yeah. What it is too, it's almost like being like a football coach in a way, because I have all these, filmmakers, and I watch their styles, and I see certain things, I think that's all of our secret weapons as artists is, see, people are always looking from side to side thinking, okay, what's this person doing? Are they making a werewolf movie too? Are they doing this too? But you know what? All of our secret weapons, we all have a secret weapon, and that's the way we see things.
Right.
Because not everyone sees things the same way. So what's interesting is I kind of like handpicked the artists that I kind of knew that would gel with my style, and that would work. It'd be cohesive enough to like make this film, and you would think like, wow, you can see this happening. And like just you watch the trailer, and I think it doesn't look like this is it doesn't look like it's a variety of directors. It looks like it was all shot by one director.
Yeah.
And and it is, so it is finding, people that kind of have that kind of flow you do, and that kind of artistry. And but at the same time, the exciting part is, they all have their own take on a subgenre. They all have their take on a horror comedy, or a straight horror film. So and I love seeing that. And that's one of those things I like to do too, is I like to go to film festivals when I have something entered. I mean, sure, you schmooze a little bit while you're there, but I'm there to watch films. I mean, I don't think I even leave the theater. I sit there and watch everything that's on the, that's on the brochure, on the leaflet they hand out. I'm watching every film and marking it off and writing down directors or composers' names that I really, really dig.
I was gonna say that was where you and I actually, for the first time, got to meet face to face, aside from some phone calls on your Lamb Feed film. And it was funny because I was like, I think maybe 1 or 2 aisles over from you, and I was right. It was like you and I the whole time. People would get up in between. We're just sitting there drinking, eating our chicken wings, just watching everything they were throwing up on the screen down there in Tampa. That was a good day.
That's what I do. I really dig film festivals, especially, like I said, when I have something competing. I mean, I love watching everything, and it's not from a competitive standpoint. It's from just watching other artists express themselves. I find a really big interest in that. And man, that's where we met. That was like, oh my God, that was like over 6 years ago, I think.
Roll the clocks back.
I chugged a pint of Jack Daniels on stage before I gave my
I remember that because I was in the back having a tasty beverage. I'm like, oh, look at him, he's having a tasty beverage before he gives a speech. I was like, all right.
I ended up signing the bottle. And giving it to a fan at the end of the night. So,
it was definitely a good
time.
Mm-hmm. So I was going to ask, for you, I mean, where did it all begin for you? Where did everything get up and running as far as going into this realm as being a filmmaker and artist such as yourself?
Well, I'll keep a long story sort of short, but this is where it all started. My grandparents, they helped bring me up, and when I was 8 years old, they took me to LA and we went to Universal Studios for a day. And it just blew me away to see, like, we were sitting there and they showed me where they lay Christopher Reeve down and he's flying through the air, and and they're showing you, oh, you can do this too. And oh, look, you could pick this car up and look at this, is not really a castle, it's a facade.
Yeah.
And it amazed me. And from that point on, I just, I was curious about how things were made and how do you do this and how do you do that, and it stuck with me all through high school and everything. And I would write creatively. I'd write a lot of poetry. I'd write plays, things like that. Well, anyways, reality kicks in. Senior year, go to my guidance counselor. He says, LA is going to chew you up and spit you out once you get there. Because I told him, hey, I want to go in there and I want to be in film production. Any way possible, I want my foot in the door and do this, that. And he says, look, play it safe, buddy. Stick here, go to college, and find a trait, find something that that's really going to stick with you.
Well, at least they were honest. I mean, it is not an easy industry, period.
No, it's not. It's not. And so I did, for years, and I was already in my mid, 30s, almost late 30s, and I started writing again. And I joined some writing groups, and people were like, wow, you're a really good storyteller. You should see about getting these things optioned or sold. And, before you know it, I started, networking with other writers. And then I joined a think tank. And then I was able to sell some of my writing and sell some of my contributions to things. But I didn't get any credit because it was like a ghostwriting thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So right before I met Brody, I had written and directed a short film called Night of the Sea Monkey, and that was the first thing I wanted to do. Yeah, so I mean, it was always with me since the age of 8, but let's say, you know, it took till about 36 for me to really get the gears going.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
you know,
hey, we're almost 40 ourselves, or yeah. And at times we feel that we're coming late into the game, but we want to share everybody else's stories, and through our sketchisodes, that's telling our stories of our creative mind, and hopefully we eventually make something bigger.
Up. Yeah, building it up as we go. Well, not to mention, I mean, the aspect and idea that, like we were talking about just a little bit ago. I mean, the Parlor, it's a hub. It's a hub for all independent artists and entertainers. It's almost kind of my idea with it is just that of a cool hangout in Haven.
Yeah.
Just put all the bullshit aside. You can come in, hang out, and in so doing it, create a cool network. Build bridges. Create a little bit stronger foundation, if such. So.
Yeah, no, man, I totally dig what you guys are doing. It's awesome.
Thank you.
So, I was just gonna ask, what would you what kind of advice would you give to speaking of independent artists and people coming up, people going into their 20s, into their 30s, even people starting out in their 40s? What kind of cool advice would you give to that indie artist working to get to where you're at right now?
It is a jungle out there, boys and girls. Lions, tigers, and bears, but 90% venomous snakes.
Yeah.
So tread lightly. If this is really, you had a guest on, Ann Wells, and I think she said it best, how you would actually, like, if you think it's something you might want to do, if you like it, try, if it's something that doesn't seem laborious to you, if it's something that you find that you can do effortlessly and you enjoy it. I mean, if you enjoy like shooting for 18 hours straight and you still have a smile on your face at the end of the night or early morning, then, then stick with it. But my biggest advice to somebody out there that has a creative flair, okay, whether you're a director that visually sees things or whether you're someone that can score something, you can watch something play out and say, I know how that music would go with that scene. Writing, acting, etc. The biggest piece of advice to give you, if you have that in you and you have that in you and you have that story to tell, or you have something, make sure you capitalize it. Don't live the rest of your life in regret and say, I almost did this, I almost did that.
Yeah.
If it is something that really sparks in you, be curious and take that step, because what's going to happen is along the line, because there's so many artists in the world.
Oh yeah.
There's going to be 5, 6, 7. There might be more people that idea strikes in them, and then all of a sudden you see it parade past you.
Yeah.
Because I did that. I did that into my 30s. I would jot down little ideas, and I would like, oh, that would be a cool little, wow, that would be a cool story. But I never really took it serious enough to like take that step. And then all of a sudden I would see it play out.
Yeah.
Without me.
Yeah.
And I would say, maybe I had that idea. I mean, I can't prove it, but
right.
Wow, at least some went and did that. Well, that could be you. That could be you.
Right.
So, So I think, hey, if you like long hours and you like waiting around on set but you enjoy the finished product and you feel rewarded by seeing that.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, in the indie world, it's a long time before you see a healthy paycheck in this.
Yeah.
So so you have to find something in it that rewards you. So if you find collaborating with somebody and moving a mountain or seeing a scene through or seeing a special effect through, and it works on camera and it works in the finished product, and that's your reward, and you feel it's in your heart, then hey, that's for you. Then you know what, go for it.
Yeah.
Awesome. The thing is, a lot of that is how I feel working in theater. because I do lighting and sound design and some acting, and jack of all trades, master of none. And I always feel that you should always learn something, even though on opening night, those 6 weeks worth of rehearsals, you get your instant gratification after opening night.
Yes.
I mean, unless it's completely catastrophic, then that's a whole nother story. But overall, you still get that instant gratification.
Mm-hmm.
And all that hard work, watching the pieces of the puzzle finally come together, you know, in film, Brody and I, we've been on a couple of features as well. And when we feel that a scene was done right, it's always like that, woo, type of moment. And it just feels like, yep, let's not lose that data now, but still.
Yeah, no, and that's when you do know that this is for you, and this is what you enjoy, you know. And some people that may see that as laborious or, you know, tiresome, and that's probably why it just wasn't for them, you know. But at least they tried. But yeah, if you're into it and you're like, man, this is really, I love going that extra mile to get something really good as a team.
Yeah.
Then definitely this is the place for you. And then once you get over that step, my second bit of advice to filmmakers is, if you ever come across a time when you're stumped or lacking inspiration, here's my advice. And I always when I see independent filmmakers on Facebook or Instagram saying, oh, I'm such, you know, I have a block or I have this, I always post, go watch Jaws. Go watch Jaws, okay? Jaws is my go-to movie. I always recommend it. I mean, it's not for everybody, but at the same time, if you look beyond the what you're watching, the aesthetic, you'll see the ingenuity at work, and you'll see the sleight of hand that Spielberg and, you know, his team had to play because they had no choice.
Yeah.
So to me, that's just so inspiring that, you know what, it gets me off the couch and tells me, hey, you know what, I'm gonna do this, even though, you know, I know it's an uphill battle. It's been done. I just watched it, you know.
Yeah. Right.
So you know,
that's
go to Jaws when all else fails.
Well, Mike, I greatly appreciate you coming and hanging out with us this evening in the parlor. It's been most fantastic, dude. I was gonna say, is there any links that you want to mention to any of your upcoming work, as far as where people might be able to go and check out what's going on?
Also, if you want, I mean,
and we'll also post it for you.
Yeah, we'll happily review anything that you got coming up too.
Yeah, if you want, we'll be more than happy to. Awesome. Yeah, give it our own kind of Siskel and Ebert kind of spin off of it. But yeah.
Okay, sounds good, man. I'll send some stuff your way. Go check out Last American Horror Show. You can see that it's available on DVD. You can buy it through Walmart.com, Target.com, BestBuy.com. It's on Amazon Prime, Tubi TV. It's streaming free on Tubi with ads. So you can check it out there. Watch. It's my first feature film. It's a send up to creep show and Tales from the Crypt and Tales from the Dark Side.
Yeah,
it's got four vignettes in there with the wraparound story. It's got some really cool cult stars in there. Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp, Robert Mukes from House of a Thousand Corpses in it. But check it out. And then, you know, in 2021, I'll have the sequel, the follow up, Last American Horror Show 2, starring Mel Novak from Game of Death. And I mean, he's worked with Steve McQueen, all kinds of people. He's a legend. But anyways, he's really good in it. Yeah, he's really good in this film. So check that out. But yeah, you can look me up on Facebook under Michael S. Rodriguez, and Instagram at MSR Studios 1. But it's been a pleasure, guys. I mean, this has been a really cool. And we're just shooting the shit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, feel free to hit us up anytime if you need something, or you would want to throw an idea at us. We can help you out.
Well absolutely. And now that what's that? I'm sorry. Go ahead, buddy. I didn't mean to...
I was gonna say no, and and we'll definitely maybe do a future collaboration together.
That'd be amazing.
I mean, now that, we're finally up and running, got everything going from our production standpoint, we can totally do this, man. We can totally 100% work with you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys again.
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
Thank you very much.
Ahead, man.
And thank you everybody for watching the interview with Michael Rodriguez. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. This way you can get any update that we do. Our interviews are also in podcast form. You can via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the fun stuff, major platforms. We're really working hard here. And tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. We're wrapping it up for the new year. Actually, this is actually going to be posting at the beginning of the new year.
Yeah, this will be coming out in probably the first, second week of January.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. And we got to wrap it up because we got family stuff too. So thank you, everyone. We are looking for a sponsor for some coffee. And the subscribe button is not in Brody's crotch like it has been in other videos. It's all the way over here, over in Michael's spot. And we'll see you next time. Thank you very much, everybody.
Have a happy one.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Man. Merry Christmas, man. Happy New Year.
Thank you, buddy.
Take care.
You too.